Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for Pitch Black. Or you might think of it as The Chronicles of Riddick, Pitch Black. But they didn't have that pre-name on there when it first came out. Anywho, it's a movie starring Vin Diesel, Rhoda Mitchell, Claudia Black, and Cole Hauser. So, as always, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the furry. To start off the furry, if you like Sergals, I think you will like the things that you will see in this movie. Yeah, I don't want to say too much more because I feel like that'll ruin things. But moving on to the good and the bad. So this movie came out. I want to say it was one of Vin Diesel's first movies, but it's so well made. It's definitely more of the like kind of horror genre where people are getting picked off one by one type of thing, and there's a lot of scary things that happen. But I think it's kind of fun that if you look at it, like pay attention to how people die in this, because it's pretty much not necessarily from the actions of a bad person doing a bad thing to them, if you look at it. But it is still a well done, horror-ish movie, but not one of the like jump scare type of horror movies, if that makes any sense. There are some actiony bits, and so that's why I can see that it could be placed in kind of either category. But I feel like with how dark things are and scary things happening, I feel like it's a bit more horror than action. But either way, it has Vin Diesel in it. He plays a character who has this shine on his eyes where he can see a little bit in the dark, and he's a prisoner on this transport that crash lands on this planet with a few other like just regular passengers, and they have to find a way off the planet. And this planet starts off as just like a triple sunned planet, so there's just never any darkness. But they still manage to have some of the like scary things going on, even when it's super duper bright out. But not everything is as it seems, and timing could not have been worse for their crash. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to say anything more than that, but I will say that I love Rhoda Mitchell. Anything that she's in, I will definitely see, so that's great. Claudia Black, not as big of a fan of hers, just because of the seasons that she was in Stargate SG-1. I was just kind of like, it wasn't her fault, but I didn't super care for her character, but also just the show in general had kind of declined. But this movie, they're all excellent actors, and I felt that the pacing was really good. And yeah, it's a bit of an older movie, but I still think that the CGI pretty much holds up. I think that if you're trying to find a flaw with it, you're of course going to, but for what they need to get across and the lighting, you could, I think, blame a lot of the like, is that okay CGI stuff on the lighting that is used. So you could just be like, oh, this just happens to be the lighting that's used on these creatures. But I love the mysteriousness that Vin Diesel's character had, and it's just great to see, I would say younger Vin Diesel, and just the actions that he's doing, and just what a badass he is, even in this one. So this is definitely a fun time, and I think it's the second best Riddick movie, only because of the filmmaking techniques I think had advanced enough for the movie Riddick that movie is better than this one. But Pitch Black, I think, is still an excellent one that you should see before seeing the other two Riddick films. Or I guess you can count the animated ones, but I'm not going to. So definitely give this one a shot, and it's really good and has an interesting implementation of the technology and things that are there, and a surprising way that they you got to watch it a couple times to like see how they retrace steps, if you will, and it's interesting. Also, I would say that if you get a chance to watch the director's cut, I think the few things that I remember being cut out from the director's cut, I think make a couple of the things make a little bit more sense. But when I did my most recent rewatch this time, the director's cut was not available on the streaming platform that I used, and it still worked very well. I just remember being like, oh yes, there was a thing there that made that make a little more sense for what that was doing, and yada yada. So if you can watch the director's cut, but you're still going to get a very good movie without the director's cut. But I really like they did such a good job with the color tinting of everything to really show you the progress of time and the different suns and just how light interacts. What I will say is that it was a little hard for me to distinguish some of the smaller things from some of the larger things in the purple vision, if you will, but I think on a rewatch you'll probably be able to understand it, or just maybe you're smarter than me and will understand it on the first round of the size of things that you're seeing. I don't want to say any more than that, but go ahead and watch it, and that's all I have for this one. Thanks for coming, thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!